Jeff, are we good?
Yeah, we can try. See what happens. It may work, it may not.
What everyone wants to hear. It might be silent. Who knows?
Yeah, just use sign language and we'll be fine.
Because it's supposed to go over there. This podium's in the wrong place. That's-
Wherever you want to go.
Good. I just want to be able to walk away.
Someone's going to sit in front of you.
This is a good problem.
Yeah.
You're not sitting in the back.
Usually.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to have all of you here with us this afternoon, and we will bring our Portland Village Council Board of Directors meeting for May 1st to order. We will follow Robert's.
Can you get closer to the mic?
I'm sorry. Oh, Mike. Sorry. Better.
Yes.
Follow Robert's rules of order for small boards. This meeting will be recorded, and you'll notice a slight change in our configuration here for speakers. We have started going live with our meetings to be able to do live broadcasts on the YouTube channel to try and get more exposure out into the community for folks that don't actually want to come into the meeting, maybe be able to log in. It'll be a process that works over time, but we've set up a slightly different configuration to make that better for the presentation process online. So again, thank you for being here, and we will get things started with a stakeholder update from Diana.
Nice to see you out there.
Yes. Front and center.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. So the big subject, of course, is ice skating. You'll see a semi right at the top of the marina, and that's the start of their stage. And I believe at least one of the gentlemen has checked in. We're waiting on two more. We sent a test message today to everyone that was signed up. We have probably about 300 new signed up people, which is fantastic. We're at 1177, and I believe that there's like another 20 that's come in. Some of those are double in the household, so but even if you're figuring 500-600, that's a great number. And so on Monday, the ice skating will start, and then every night we will change the schedule online. And if you're having any problems with the schedule online, you need to reboot your computer, because Kay was just telling me that hers is still missing the pages. And I just looked it up on the phone, and the pages are there. But we're not sure how tight they will be to the schedule. But again, everyone on Alert Media will get a morning message that will say we're starting, and they will get an in message that says we're done on the street. A few of the residents will be affected 2 days because we would start with the same hydrant, but go to a different exit hydrant. And that is on the schedule also. But if you have any questions, let us know. We've had a lot of activity at the office, and one of our people is on vacation, so it's been a little crazy, but they're handling it well. And on the hospitality side, we are starting our seasonal hiring, so you'll see some ads in social out there. If you know anybody who's looking for summer work, it'd be awesome to send them over. And then, of course, at the fireside, we have a couple of Mother's Day brunch. I believe we still have some space. We have wine tasting on April 23rd. It's a $10 flight. You can come in, you can try 4 to 5 tastes of wine, it's $10, there's a little bit of food with that. And just show up, it's always the second, this is 4/23. I thought it was the second week, but maybe it's the third week. Anyways, it's on our website, if you go to events on the website. We do have another winemaker dinner coming up, May 22nd, and then some fun things is our happy hour is changing. So we're gonna serve lunch till 2, and then from 2 to 5, we're gonna do a happy hour, and the happy hour has fish and chips, it has hamburger, it has some really light fare, chowder, bread, those kinds of things. But it's a nice fill-in if you like to eat from 2 to 5. At 5, we will also then start our dinner menu and start the happy hour menu. And I believe wine is $6, beer is $6. So it's pretty nice. You can go sit on the veranda, which is great. Farm suppers are returning on Sundays. We've been really excited to see produce coming in from the farms that we work with. We work with about 25 of them in the Chincomb Valley. And it's great if you ever ask a restaurant that says they're farm to fork, say how far away are your farms. Ours are within 20 miles. And our fishmongers, of course, are out on CQ and out that way, but we do try to really support our farmers. They're very important. Golf course is celebrating 50th anniversary this year, so we're going to do 50th on a flag. And we'll have some little things going on up there. It was really nice. The Lynx magazine said start around with us. They listed the 5 public golf regional road trips. So we were in that, which was great to see. A wonderful tournament that we do is US Kids. So we'll see kids from very small to, I believe, early teenager. And they'll be on our course 5-4, which is this Saturday. We have 160 kids signed up. But if you ever want to see some amazing kids that are very athletic, you could go like where JR is on the deck, just stop for a minute, and you could look out and just watch the kids swing and coming up 9. Very talented. They could outdrive me by a mile. And then on Saturday, so that tournament's on Sunday, on Saturday we're doing the Marina Swap. The Marina Swap is annually, it's been going on for quite a while. People buy tables, they bring stuff they want to swap or sell. The view court only has 2 tables left. And then sometimes there's little boats and different things there, and people come and buy them. I think she's serving hot dogs. So kind of a fun event. Port Lumbo Yacht Club opening day is May 10th. And then she's also doing the 2nd annual Small Boat Festival where about 100 boats come in that are small. And so you'll see a ton of boats down at the marina, which is really fun to see. We're starting some other events, just trying to have more things to do in the community. We're doing a cork and canvas, so in other words, you paint while you have a glass of wine, which is really fun. That'll be set for the last Wednesday of May and June. Shirley Baumgars is facilitating. I don't know if anybody knows her. It's $50 per person. That includes everything, the materials, the wine. And then Chincomb Farmers Market opening is this week on May 5th. And I guess that's 1 month early, so that's great. It sounds like we've had a good growing season. Any questions?
The alert media that came out today, was that supposed to be email only, or should we have seen a text message as well?
She may have done both because, no, just email. Okay, I think it was only email
That's all.
because she did a geocaching area, and I'm pretty sure she only said email. Tam?
Oh, I wondered when the small boats happened.
She didn't give me a date, but it's in the month of May. But if you go onto our website under events, it'll be there.
Thank you.
Diana, I may be overthinking this, but I've been concerned. We talked, I think, at the end of the last town hall. The issue of residents being impacted over multiple days. Unfortunately, that's like day 1 and day 2 of the process. What I spoke with Robert this morning, and what I was trying to get clarification on, so as an example, we show Sparrow Court with an insertion point from hydrant 60 and then it goes out through their blow off. What wasn't clear was on the day before that, they're using hydrant 60 for three other lanes up in North Bay. And I tried to get clarification on whether those streets on day 2 would be impacted by that. And what he mentioned was that there was, I believe, a shutoff that was available for some of those runs. But what that didn't clarify for me, I understand you can shut it off and so you wouldn't have any infiltration coming from the picking process. But does that also shut off their water supply if they shut off that feeder line?
It would.
So I think we may have talked about just a way to kind of over-communicate to those folks then that they're going to be impacted.
You know what I'll ask, since on day 1 we sent an email out in the morning,
Yes.
I will ask, because Jason will be back, he gets back in Saturday. I will ask Jason to communicate if it will be affected the second day. And that will come out that morning of the first day, which would give him enough notice. So I asked him to include that in the alert media. Now, if it's not on alert media,
Right.
that may be harder, but I'm here Monday. I could ask him to inform me too, and I could let PLVC know, you know, and try to spread it.
I think over communicating around this
Yeah, and LMC may be good because we're starting
probably
in that
be a good
area.
idea. And my specific concern, I guess, is because if I'm a resident on Sparrow Court and I look at the schedule and it says I'm on day 2,
Right,
and I'm actually impacted by day 1,
you could be,
then I'm unprepared for that.
yes,
And we've got business people up there doing business from their homes
okay,
who would
okay.
experience
get him-
difficulty.
I'll try and get him an answer over the weekends,
That'd be great.
but if not, worst case would be Monday morning,
Okay,
and then that might give them a heads up.
right, yeah, okay.
Okay,
Yes, so other than that, I mean, I appreciate all the work that went into this part. It's just unfortunate because the very first 2 days, we got the multiple impacts from a single item.
Can you speak to sprinkler systems too, and reminding folks? You already mentioned this before.
Yeah, we have talked about that, and it's on the website as well. So just the point being to turn off your sprinkler system in case you have it on, because you don't want the infiltrate coming into your sprinkler system, which might be separate from the feed coming into your home water supply.
Are there folks around with hot tubs and pools at their home that
There are a number of
show
issues.
something in there?
Yeah, but most of those, I think, come through the primary water supply. So if they shut off the water valve to their home, in most cases, I think they're shutting off to the hot tub or the pool as well. The sprinkler system, though, is frequently separated from that. It's got a separate feed coming off the meter.
yeah, and most people, I mean, when I drive around and look, I think most people water early in the morning, which is the best, or late at night. So as long as they're done before 9, you know, they don't have to shut it off. But if they don't know when their system's on, then they want to shut it off or you know, change the time. Definitely.
That's great.
Okay,
Good.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll make a note of that.
And it's great to hear the number of folks that are on the alert media campaign as well. We had a fairly light turnout at both of the town hall meetings, the one in South Bay and the one here around this issue. And so we're just concerned that people are as well informed as they can be. Starts on Monday. All right, Greg.
Yes.
It's going to be harder to look at you guys than I'm up here, but happy to accommodate. I'm Greg Brotherton, County Commissioner, and I was going to talk to you today about planning, partners, and personnel. Which all has been going on a lot. One planning issue that I think we've talked about before is the solid waste plans. And we had a joint meeting with the BOCC and the Solid Waste Advisory Committee last week, where they advised, and it's gonna come in front of the Board of County Commissioners, two separate things. One was raising the rates for the transfer station. And that's to pay for capital facilities. The scale is in really bad shape, it could fail at any time. So even though we're working to design a new transfer station, at this point, we're gonna have to put $4.1 million into the existing transfer station and deferred maintenance. You know, everything from the tarp coverage, you know, every load that gets compressed goes to this tarp covering platform that's getting increasingly dangerous for the workers even to get up there. So things like the scales and that are going to have to be addressed. So raising the per tonnage rate, it doesn't raise the minimum, this proposal, which is still $20.83, and there is a low affordable rate if you are low income. And then that was pretty easy to move forward. The other recommendation that they're going to put forward is that we end free recycling in Jefferson County. And that would be going entirely to the private EPC hauler waste connections and encouraging only curbside recycling starting in July of 26, I believe, when the contract ends. So there's talk still about, you know, the potential of can we raise the tipping fee rate to actually accommodate the cost of all the recycling, because already our recycling is paid for really by the tipping fee as the market has, you know, plummeted since trying to stop taking our garbage that we call recycling, you know, in 2018, I guess. So it's not a popular option. People really value recycling, but it's something that our solid waste facilities our staff to maintain the operations and to keep it open are recommending. So to let you know about that coming, I think it'll be in front of the commissioners on Monday. Another planning thing that's going on is the comprehensive plan periodic update. The first draft is out for review, so if you just look up Jefferson County comp plan, you can see the first draft, and we would love feedback on that as we move forward. There'll be several public outreach opportunities, but you can also just email notes or comments directly to DCD. And the other planning option that's out there, or planning plan that is ready for review, is Jefferson Transit, their comprehensive COA. I'm going to forget what it is. Their route analysis. So there's a route analysis that we did work with the consultant, left turn, right turn on, and it's out for review. There's a survey at jeffersontransit.com that you can go take after looking at it. It involves some changes that will impact Port Ludlow, including it really, more of the southern routes, looking at more micro-transit options that would unlock, areas like Cape George and College Point that are unserved by Jefferson Transit, and also looks to develop the Gateway Visitor Center as a transit hub, so the bus that goes to Kingston would go there, which would connect Port Ludlow to the Quilcene Brennan bus, as well as connecting it to the Clown Transit and to the Kingston Fast Ferry Route 123. So that's a connector hub is the idea. That's a planning idea that is far out there, but there will be more service even starting in September. For example, the route number 1 that goes to Brennan and Quilcene runs twice a day right now, and it will be running 3 times a day with this new proposal. So looking for feedback on that. Also with that partner, we are really hungry for more members on the advisory group. It's a great advisory group that gives a lot of policy suggestions that staff processes and then brings over to the Jefferson Transit Authority Board. And that transit advisory group meets once a month, or once every other month in the evenings. I'm the vice chair of Jefferson Transit now, so I attend that as well. And it's a really dynamic group that brings a lot of really forward-thinking transportation issues. So it would be great to have Port Ludlow representation on that group if someone has some extra capacity. Other partners that are really suffering right now, I think I talked last month about the anxiety on the federal and state funding, and that's not gotten any better. OLECAP specifically has seen a lot of programs that they operate for the benefit of our community. LIHEAP specifically, some early childhood funding that is really just getting cut off at the knees. And LIHEAP is the low income heating and insulation, I don't know what the P stands for, but it really keeps people from losing their homes, preventing homelessness for those that are low income by doing that, window insulation, double panels, windows and insulation. It's a critical program. It's small but incredibly effective in downstream impacts and preserving folks' ability to maintain their homes. And then, I have three, right? Planning, I think there's one more planning thing I'll forget and maybe come back to. And then personnel, Team Jefferson EDC, that's the other planning one. Our Economic Development Council that is county-wide is hiring a new executive director and also is really starting to activate the recompete funds for business development and workforce development. And they have an explicit South County representative that I'm trying to get to come out of Port Ludlow as well. But if folks are looking for business training, there's free business development classes at EDC, and I really would love to get Port Ludlow engaged, like Wilson and Brennan are really starting to really have a good handshake with the services that are offered there. And they're really supposed to incubate. I'm also meeting with the Center for Inclusive Entrepreneurship tomorrow, which is another great, taking the business idea, turning it into a micro enterprise, and then EDC is really about taking those micro enterprises and growing them into productive, multiple employee businesses with, there's a very kind of prescriptive business formula that one of our trainers uses to help small businesses level up their game, and it's been super effective. And with the recompete money now, we're going to be probably hiring 7 more people to do that business training. So there's going to be more capacity for especially South County businesses that want to understand where their profitability can go with the appropriate pricing and controls on their finances. As I said, we're in the hiring process for our new executive director for that Team Jefferson EDC Team Jefferson. We had one interview today. We got another one next week, and we're really excited about the prospect. USAID's loss is our gain in this instance, as we met a lovely gentleman from El Salvador, flew up from El Salvador today to interview. So the job market has certainly changed. Jefferson County, too, had many applicants for their county administrator position. I was one of them, and one of the finalists, and we had those interviews yesterday, and I was unsuccessful. But, so good, right? Yeah, I'm going to compare myself to the Dresden Fire Department. But we've got Josh Peters, who's currently our DCD director, and he has been chosen to be questions that I can answer.
Any questions from attendees?
I have a question.
Yes.
It had absolutely nothing to do with what you said.
So there's lots of other things to speak, so I'm happy to try to address it.
So, I've been in Port Ludlow 30 years and seen a lot of what goes on. One of our concerns, I'm representing the yacht club as well as myself, is that we're seeing more and more large vessels coming in here to anchor during the winter months.
Okay.
Some of them are left alone and others have little boards. These larger vessels carry, and I'm speculating, a lot of fuel. Probably not as much as they could carry, but still all they probably are carrying in the vicinity of 1,000 gallons. If one of those goes aground in this harbor, which doesn't flush very well, it's going to be catastrophic.
Yeah.
And if, in my opinion, having seen a whole bunch of oil spills, the property values in here will really plummet.
Okay.
You not only have the aesthetics of the oil spill, but you have the stench of diesel fuel that permeates the sand, the beach, and everything else around the harbor. So there is a law, state law, that says a boat must move after 30 days, 5 nautical miles.
Okay.
But nobody's enforcing it. I talked to the state, I talked to the Coast Guard. Coast Guard doesn't enforce state laws. Sometimes they don't enforce federal laws either. We've had some discussions about that. I talked to the Port of Townsend. I talked to the county health department. Anyway, all the actors that
Have you talked to the sheriff's department?
We have met with the sheriff's department, I haven't, but a gentleman here who's a retired attorney has gone down and spoken to him.
Mhm.
You know, they're strained with resources,
They love getting the boat out of
and they don't have any place to take the boat to.
Yeah.
Last 2 weeks ago, the Coast Guard towed in a derelict that was floating around out here, which was a hazard of navigation,
Mhm.
and simply dropped it at the marine.
Mhm.
I mean, this thing was a mess.
Right.
So I went down and talked to him, and then later I talked to some more senior people in the Coast Guard. They don't have a repository to take these derelict vessels and park them someplace until they can litigate it. My concern is we need some local law enforcement that will enforce the laws or change the laws or do something, but, you know, the naysayers will say, well, probability of that happening is practically none. But then again, the practicality of flying a plane into a structure in New York City is practically nothing too. So, I'm hoping that the county commissioners will take a look at how this law can be enforced, not just for Fort Ludlow, but Fort Townsend, Fort Hadlock, Pleasant Harbor, and so forth. We're susceptible to the bigger boats coming in here and putting in their anchor, sometimes properly, sometimes not.
Yeah.
So I would ask that you consider taking a look at the situation and seeing what you can do. So far, no one has been willing to say we can do anything.
Right. Well, let me, I guess, answer in a couple ways. One thing that we have, I'm going to forget the exact name, is a countywide list of hazardous materials. I'm totally spacing on the name right now. But making sure that we acknowledge, like Indian Island is on there for the bolus of armaments and everything that are taken off and put on. So knowing where things might go, because Indian Island is where we have the emergency response, all the floating pontoons and everything that can constrain. So knowing where there's a potential impact will allow us to make sure that's in the plan so people are prepared to come out here. I don't think East Jefferson Fire and Rescue, I think the Sheriff's Department is the course to pursue. Of course, our sheriff is an independent elected, so the POCC does not get to tell the sheriff how to enforce the state laws. But I know that my seatmate, Commissioner Eisenhower, was a commercial fisherman in a previous life, has been working a lot in her role on the Marine Resources Committee with DNR and their derelict boats. It's usually they ended up in dry dock at the boat haven while they were going through this, but maybe a boat of this size was just, I don't know the specific situation. So
One was 141 feet, one was 95 feet.
I mean, they can take them out there with a 300-ton lift for sure, but maybe they're like, oh, and then we have a 149-foot ship in our dry dock that no one owns.
The Marina manager just got a request to bring in a restored old Coast Guard tug, World War II vintage that was supposedly restored. They wanted to bring it in here. My guess is they wanted to leave it here for a while, so they would have to pay mortgage.
Right.
And that's a lot of tugboats sitting out there with who knows how much fuel.
Yeah, no, it's a sticky wicket, that one. I'll have conversations with the BOCC and see what we can do. If you can follow up with an email, and just gbrotherton@co.jefferson.wa.us. It's on our website as well. Then I can talk to a few folks and see what responses we can give. I can talk to the sheriff and see what their appropriate response would be. Of course, I can't dictate to them how they respond. And we create local laws within being agents of the state, so we're subject to the state laws as well, and enforcement of those usually falls on. Well, unless it's not land use code. I'll have to kind of think on how we can respond and where, like other agencies, we don't have extra capacity, and that's probably why you're not getting a lot of folks stepping up for a 149-foot boat. So I will, and then also see if we can't acknowledge the risk of that having those around. If we get that in our hazard mitigation plan, whatever it's called, then that also helps give ammunition to an enforcement action on the front end. So often, it's a slow path, and that's what I can think of it now.
So something to keep in mind, and the last thing to keep in mind is that if these what's to happen, the property value would plummet. The tax base for the county would suffer a major hit. So it's in your interest to try to prevent this from happening in the first place.
I mean, I don't want to foil still out there, that's enough reason for me, honestly. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay.
It's great, thanks. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Sorry, thanks for sticking around for the rest of the meeting.
That's all right. In the context of that last vote issue that we had, Peter, wasn't that the sheriff's department that eventually,
You're talking,
yes, yeah, was that not the sheriff's department that eventually got that vote moved from here up to Port Townsend?
no,
Who got it moved?
they moved it themselves.
Well, the sheriff's department posted notices, did they not?
They did, but, that one was a band vessel,
Okay,
like woman, who had 5 dogs.
right,
She claimed she couldn't move, but in fact, I was sitting on my deck when they started the engines and left.
right.
That's easy.
95-footer was abandoned.
Okay,
And we have a sailboat out there right now, not nearly as big, probably 45 feet. It's been out there for 6-7 months. And just before I came up here, I saw a canoe paddle out to it, so I'm gonna go back down to the marina and see if I can get in contact with the gentleman. Go from there.
sure. So, on either of those votes, have those been reported to the sheriff's department yet?
Yes.
They have already been reported? Okay.
Yeah, but, a lot of these boats, they have no hailing port, no documentation, no post office box, no street address, so it's really tough to track them down.
Right.
The state should be doing a better job, because they have the database and they have the information.
All
I
right.
think there's over 1,000 boats on there, abandoned derelict list. 75-footer was on priority 5, which is the lowest priority for getting anything done.
And I know nothing about marine law, but how are they permitted to just bring them in to Port Ludlow and dump them? How does that happen? They just,
It's like the Coast Guard did. I mean, what's the difference between that tugboat that came in and it was towed in, didn't come in under its own power, so when they dropped the anchor, they just dropped it over the side, didn't have it back down and took a strain on the anchor chain.
right,
So that's not the way you anchor a boat of that dimension.
sure.
And then that was it. They came and went, but they never showed an anchor light. And that's a violation of federal law, and the Coast Guard would come in and out of here every 2 or 3 days. And I went down and spoke to them and said, they're not showing an anchor light, they don't have a hailing port, they don't have any numbers. So that's my frustration. Anyway,
Understood. Thanks again for bringing it to our attention. I'll reach out to you.
Probably floating out in harbors.
All right, thank you. Carolyn? James, sorry.
You skipped it.
Trying to cruise through this real quick. I mean, it does sound like the Navy could have some fun with target practice out there. Just throwing out ideas.
Raise the mic.
Oh, raise the mic, all right. All right, my name is Jameson Hahn, Jefferson PUD. I'm here to give you an update. First off and foremost, Dan Tupper, your commissioner for this district, is not here. He is over in DC right now. He's with Kevin Street, our GM, and Mike Bailey, our finance manager. They're back there putting in the good word for projects that we have here. That is a big deal. They've been back all week, meeting with the Navy, meeting with RUS, which is the that allowed us to be a public utility. And they are meeting with everyone they can get in the door with to make sure that we have opportunity for funding of large-scale projects. This also things like grant funding too. So there's still monies out there, and that's something we are prioritizing because we're working on things like our cost of service study. So our ongoing cost of service study, if you are able to, it's a hybrid meeting, May 6th. You can log on to see the latest word from FCS, which is our finance. They're the ones looking at our financial future in our work plan. So they are the ones looking at our cost of service study and rate study increase. So it's a really interesting breakdown that they provide every single time. I post the meetings right after as well, so if you aren't able to attend, you can go back and watch the meeting, and you can also go back and see the PowerPoint that they present. And you can see an entire breakdown of what we're facing as far as infrastructure, countywide, and how we plan on reaching that in the 4-year interim. So highly recommend if you can attend that. You can, there's public comment, so please feel free to do that. Also for the next meeting is our BPA rep, which BPA is Bonneville Power Administration. They are a big factor in this cost of service study as well. So we have infrastructure meeting, but we also are facing an approximately 20% transmission increase cost-wise from BPA because of things like data centers that are taking that transmission, and also just the need to build. And then also a 9-ish% cost of wholesale power increase. So there's a lot of juggling happening with BPA, and we set a schedule with them for a 20-year period. So this is a rare occurrence. So you'll get to see our representative for BPA there. It's a really interesting conversation as well. His name's Marcus, very nice man. And you can again have feedback on questions you might have. That takes us to, actually, I'm gonna jump ahead to one other thing here. Right in this room, this Saturday, I will be presenting emergency power. You can see there's actually a flyer right outside the door here. Emergency power resources. So I'll be presenting on what the PUD does during a large-scale event. I use, typically for these things, I will use the example we all experienced in 2022 with several days out of power. And then we walk from there. Also in the room will be Hans Fredrickson from Fredrickson Electric, talking about generators, generator safety, how to install them. And then Andy from Power Trip Energy will be talking about solar resources and battery backup. So some really cool stuff in the room. It's an hour-long presentation where we'll answer questions too, and then we'll have booths with the Department of Emergency Management around the edge of the room. I'll also have a trailer out front with a transformer demo set up, so you can check that out as well if you're able to attend. That's Saturday at 2 p.m., 2 to 4. So pretty quick, and that's through the Port Ludlow Maintenance Committee. So hopefully we can make that. Also on our list here, we are about to start the transformer swap. So our transformer swap, luckily it won't impact the Ludlow substation right up the road. However, there's going to be some cool stuff happening. So it's not every day you're going to move around $1.5 million piece of equipment and take an entire substation offline. So that's what we're doing down in Quilcene, down south here. And we're going to be keep an eye on voltage throughout the entire district. We have beautiful weather, thankfully, now, so it's the perfect time to do it. We're putting in a 20 megawatt transformer into the Quilcene sub, taking the 6 megawatt transformer, moving that to Discovery Bay, taking Discovery Bay, which is way oversized, moving that up to Hastings or Dana Roberts up in Port Townsend. All these, not all in one day, thankfully, but in an orchestrated event to ensure that we can make more reliable moves with our power here. So it'll impact Ludlow in a way that in the future we can help distribute South County load a lot easier when we have the capacity out of Quilcene to handle it. Right now, that thing during winter peaks is peaked. So it gives us a lot of opportunity. Some fun stuff really quick that I got to be a part of was the FWEE, which is the Foundation for Water Energy Education. I got to go tour Wanapum Dam with this group. I am a board member with them, and I get a chance to do education educational outreach for students, and just recently actually had a broadband related, the Wilson kids came out and saw our broadband department. So that's something on like a fun aside that we get to do that not everybody gets to see. But right now I posted a video of my tour and time just seeing the hydroelectric generation facility firsthand and the scale. I used to work out there, so I know the scale of it. But it's very impressive, and I hope I captured it in the video. You can see firsthand what it looks like inside a powerhouse. So yeah, it's on our website as well. So, but beyond that, I just had a nice calm time down here in Port Lebanon. We love that. So if you have if there's any questions, I mean, we've got a lot of ground we're covering here over the summer. So I hope to see you all out at events. And it sounds like we got some good events on the books here in your area. So yeah, any questions or? Cool. Well, hopefully I'll see you online or in person on May 6th at our regular meeting.
Great, thank you, James. Carolyn O'Keefe has recently been elected as president of the South Bay Community Association. And she's here with us today for her first meeting with the Village Council. Thanks, Carolyn, for...
How recent was it? Being elected, it seems like...
a long time ago.
It seems like a long time ago. It's been a lifetime since I was elected as the president. So I have some updates and what's going on is at SBCA in South Bay. One of our, I guess it's our favorite thing, is our pancake breakfast that support a lot of our different community groups, and we're having one tomorrow. And I believe it's with East Jefferson County Fire and Rescue. So looking forward to having a little presentation from the chief tomorrow. And if you're available, come on and join us. It's really a great event. Well, last month we had Jefferson County Healthcare. We had a hospice group, and that was so well attended. We had 83 people, so that was a great one. So they're wonderful events, and it allows the community group to actually earn quite a bit of money from all of us who come and join in the event. Another one that what we're getting ready for, of course, is Memorial Day. Our ceremony that will be on May 26th. So we're prepping for that, starting to think about it, and presentations, and trying to make sure we've got a bugler and some other folks around for that. I guess a big one for the South Bay community is that in Olympic Terrace 2 division, which is part of where I live, is we've got 37 new lots that have been approved by Richmond American Homes is our builder out there. So PLA sold the 2 developments to Richmond American Homes, and they are busy. They have been excavating the upper development, and they have poured the foundation for the model home, and they've got a second home ready to go, and they've got 2 more in line that they got approved through our SBCA ARC, and so they'll get that going. They hope this month, well, now they're into May, so I'll tell you. So April they got 2, hopefully in May they'll get a few more in, and they got on the books that they're going to put in 4 more home requests. So as they get lots permitted by the county, then they move into our process of taking it first through our OT2 HOA and then to SBCA's park committee. I think that's all I have.
That's great, thank you, Carolyn. Moving to board business. I'd like to start with approval of the April 2025 Port Level Village Council minutes. All board members have received them. Do I have a motion to approve, or are there any edits required? No edits?
I think an edit to my last name, so you can add another F. And also, we are not having a PLVC representative election with a new person in June. we don't have elections until July, and so we're gonna wait till we get our new board members and who is going to be our new president before that happens. So those are two corrections I'd like. Okay, Tracy?
Corrections noted.
Yeah. Yeah, second week.
Great. With those edits noted, do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion as amended,
Thank you. Motion as amended, second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Financial report. Financial report. I'm happy to say as of today, we have $16,313 in our bank account. That will cover us for the rest of this year, at least. So we're doing pretty well on our funding to keep PLVC going in 2025. This month we spent $1,405. Most of that was on, $1,000 was on the mini storage we have up in Port Ludlow. And we're looking into that. We were fortunate enough that Barry, over here, Barry Luke, did who did?
Yeah.
Who did?
Kay and Jerry.
Okay, I got the information from Barry. Anyway, it looks like there's an opportunity to do a little consolidation. We've got an inventory, it looks like there's an opportunity to do a little consolidation. So maybe we can get that bill down in the next few months. It's not the first priority we have right now, but it's something we'll look at. And we did get a donation of $300 this month from an individual. Thank him for that. And so our total donations this year are only 1,380. So we have a way to go to get 15,000 we need for next year.
And that's year to date from when to when, John?
From whenever this year started, which is January 1st. Okay. There's so many different.
You're starting.
You're on a different one.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, so today we spent $5,000 in expenses. And so we're on track to not run out of money this year. We should have some excess at the end of the year.
Great.
Everything's good.
Any other comments from Finance Committee?
No, do you want to talk about the Finance Committee too, or that was down the road here?
Yeah, you're the first one under committee reports. So I guess we need a motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented.
Okay. The main thing that Finance Group is looking at, committee is looking at, is the insurance. The insurance comes up in June 1st, and it's a pretty big bill. Most of it is for risk management for the work that goes on in the Trails Committee. About 2/3 of it is that. And so we're trying to, we're doing a little due diligence on that insurance to make sure we have the right insurance and our risk management, if we protect both the PLVC and our partners like PLA, SPCA, LMC, DNR, and we have the right insurance for all these folks. So we're reviewing that right now. It's going a little slower than I thought because we have a few questions that we're investigating and we're waiting for our insurance provider to answer those questions. I don't think there's anything serious to worry about. It's just that we want to make sure that our risk management is situated the best it can be for all of us and that we have the proper coverage. And we will communicate that both to you guys and our partners, PLVC, SPCA, LMC. The alphabet soup will convey all those when we get this organized in a couple of weeks, because we expect the bill to come any day now, so we want to be ready to either ask for an amendment to what we're the coverage or pay the bill. I don't think there's anything serious. It's just that one of the problems that being a new board here, there's not a lot of background and solid definition of what our insurance should be and why we do what we do. And Finance Committee is doing is, I said we had $16,000, we'll make it through this year. The Finance Committee needs to start thinking about what are we going to do for next year? What kind of fundraising activities, what kind of things are we going to do to seek funds that we need to operate next year? And we had a basic discussion about that. We generated a number of interesting ideas. We're pursuing those ideas, and in our June meeting, we're going to have we're going to focus on that, totally on fundraising and how we should approach it. And we'll share that with the board at the next board meeting.
Great.
I'm done.
Great, thanks, John. Appreciate that. All right, communications team. I just want to call out the work that this team has been doing for the last X number of months. Those of you that had the opportunity to look at the new website, portlandvillagecouncil.org, the town hall meetings now are being recorded and presented there. The website itself has a completely updated and new look and feel compared to our old website. And it's really the result of a lot of effort from all of the folks on the communications team. And I just want to express our appreciation for all that work being done. And I think they have an update for us then based on their most recent meeting. Here you go. You may.
Okay, I'm going to do this reading style. I'm Tracy Geipel, I'm co-chair along with Jeff Lane from the Communications Committee. We had our meeting yesterday. We always have them on the last Wednesday of the month. Social wellness update was done by Kay Mall. She's working on a yard sale coming up on May 24th, yard sale and spring fair. The advertising is going well. It's been added to the Port Townsend community calendar. So far, there are 20 sellers signed up, and all food slots vendors are full. Not website, but the streaming update for the town halls. Both town halls streamed successfully. There was a combined around 400 views. There are transcripts available for both on the Portland Village Council website. We've been sending out constant contact e-blasts and trying to figure out what the happy medium amount is to send out per month. We're working on that. We're thinking about doing them semi-monthly, probably 2 days before the board meeting with the agenda and mid-month before the PLVC workshop. There are 13 new contacts that have signed up since we put the contact us page up, or sign up page. And now that the ice skating announcements are all mostly behind us, we're talking about the frequency of how often to post or to send out these e-blasts. Working on content ideas for these constant contact e-blasts. We're thinking about highlighting what Portland Village Council is up to every month. And a question of the week that might drive our folks to our website for a one-question poll or something like that, just to get people coming to visit. And a way to get it out to more people is maybe a little button that says, click here to forward to your neighbors. And maybe also adding a spotlight on a committee each month with an update and plans, since we have several committees that are very busy. Website update, traffic is good. Tim Renzema, sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly at first, contacted us and would like to add a new history page, History of Port Ludlow subsite. And then, let's see, we have a calendar on our website, and we would like to teach folks how to use that and what types of events to add. And the storage unit update that John mentioned, there's an inventory to be provided. And next meeting is May 28th, possibly at the Bay Club. We'll see. And that is our report.
Thank you, Tracy. Another team that has been hard at work. And I don't know that either of these committees actually logs the number of volunteer hours that are spent in these efforts. We've talked about doing that. I don't think we made it an official guideline, but literally, I think in the case of both the communications committee as well as the administration committee, literally hundreds of hours of volunteer effort working on the tasks that need to be completed for the village council. So I'd like to turn now to Tam McNarvin, who chairs our administration committee, and we'll talk through document revisions that have been made for our current bylaws. The reviews are happening for our articles of incorporation, our bylaws, our policies and procedures. And so they kind of follow sequentially. The review of articles of incorporation is complete, I believe, and for now, is that accurate? The review of the articles of incorporation is complete. And we're about to take a vote, I believe, on the most recent revisions to the bylaws that have been sent to the board members and posted publicly in the recent week. So Tam, please let us know what's going on.
Sure. We'll start at the back, and that is, or at the front, like however you want to look at it. The bylaws, the committee found that there were about 20 different spots that needed some clarification, best practices, maintaining compliance with the RCWs, and we made all of those changes and presented them to the board at our most recent workshop. There were some comments of changes that might be helpful, and so those changes were made, and we sent them out again to the board with the idea that we would present this finished item. Let me put it this way. The bylaws are a living document, and we can change those whenever we need to. This is a big change in terms of taking on 20 different aspects of it. We feel that we've done what we can done now. There were some really interesting comments that were made at the workshop, and they have not been forgotten. And we will certainly look into those, and we can bring the bylaws back up for amendments at any time. Hopefully we did not get any comments from the public. We did put out a e-blast that the bylaws were on our website, and that if anybody had any comments or concerns, please let us know. And if there were any comments from the floor today, is there anybody still here? So I'm talking to the board. What I would like to do was to make a motion that we adopt the bylaws as they are currently written, and adopt them today and put them into our website as the current document, replacing the ones that were made. We just made a couple of changes last November of 2024, and this would replace that set of bylaws. May I have a second?
I second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, well, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, thank you, motion carried. The other thing I wanted to mention was that the administration committee meets on the last Monday of every month, and we met this last Monday, and we started working on, well, we have been working on the policies and procedures. We started going through some edits that have been done. Barry Luke has been very, very, very helpful in, he is so knowledgeable about RCWs and the Washington Nonprofit Organization Handbook, which in the 14 years that I've worked with this organization, I had never known of its existence. So I feel very proud that Barry is on our administration committee. He's been so helpful. He and I and Dave got through, those are the three of us that are on the committee. We will have Tracy help us with edits, even though she's not a formal member of our committee, she's a stellar editor, so we will use her great skills and talents as we get closer to finishing our policies and procedures. The policies and procedures are very, very long. They're very detailed. There's over 6,000 words. Well, excuse me, there's over 1,300 words right now. With the edits, Barry helped me. I think it's over 14,000 words now. We added quite a bit more. We're getting more detail oriented, and there are things that just weren't in there before. We would like to have first go through for the policies and procedures at our June workshop, if that's possible. If not, the July one. And then hopefully we'll have the policies and procedures ready to have a vote on before we have our annual meeting in October. That's about all I have to add. If there's any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Tam. John, do you have any comments from utilities? Anything you'd like to share? Just our recent adventure.
Yeah, well, John Goldwood and others were busy working on ice skating and getting that explained to the community, which the Utilities Committee is working on regrouping. We have 4 solid people that are willing to work on it, and we have maybe 1 or 2 others in the peripheral that might be involved. So we're starting to regroup, and we decided the first thing we do, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And we've heard a lot in previous meetings from Jason White about Ozzy and the state of the condition of the equipment and all that. So we went on a tour this month. It was a very long, extensive tour. It was a beautiful day, and we got to see a lot of equipment, and that was important because you really, when you hear Jason and others talk about their problems, it's good to see what they're talking about. You really understand a lot better. So I think the Utility Committee, as a result of this, will have a better understanding, at least about Ozzy for now. Maybe we'll do something with the PUD in the near future too. But we really want to see the equipment, see the condition of the equipment, see the concerns that Jason talked about, to better understand and better help them when the time comes that they need our help. So it was great. And the next thing on the list is that Jason White wants to do, Ozzy wants to do a backflow survey to all the residents in the district. And he's asked for our help to get that information out. So we're waiting. When he comes back from vacation, we're going to get that started. So it's just early days, but I think next month we'll kind of decide on a list of initiatives for 2025, the rest of 2025, and start working on it.
Thank you, John. I think that concludes the presentations for committees. I have the most recent emergency committee meeting minutes that will be posted to our website. And Trails Committee posts their minutes as well. And so those are 2 committees for whom we won't have direct presentations today, but you will find the activities for those committees Are there any other questions or concerns from our audience members? Dan, Susie, etc.? Kate has a comment.
Yeah, John, I just wondered if you wanted to talk about the styrofoam yesterday, because it was so unusual.
Oh, that's actually, thank you, Kate. So one of the subcomponents of our utilities committee is our recycling committee that kind of works under the utilities committee umbrella. And probably the most active activity for recycling right now is ongoing styrofoam recycling. We had a local event here yesterday. We currently have been holding those events at the bridge deck, and in approximately 1.5 hours, 2 hours of local resident drop-offs. I'll tell you the poundage in a minute. Remind me how many bags again?
I think it was 23.
So these bags of styrofoam are approximately 9 feet high and 4 to 5 feet in diameter. After they have been compacted, broken apart and compacted, and then they are transported to a bunker in Fort Worth where they are stored, and then once a month rather, we fill a 40-foot trailer with this packaged styrofoam, and it goes to a manufacturing facility in Kent. Typically here in Port Ludlow, we get 8 of those bags packed per event, which is about, each bag typically averages out to about 22 pounds. So on a typical recycling event, we have maybe 170 to 180 pounds of styrofoam that's removed from the community. Yesterday was kind of a crazy day. We had 25 of those bags. We actually filled our local delivery truck, and Jeff brought down a trailer to transport the rest. So that translates to somewhere between 450 and 500 pounds of styrofoam left the local community to be reprocessed at the facility in Kent. And we were not prepared for that spike in volume. We were not prepared for that. We got through it. Very small team of volunteers from both Port Townsend and Port Ludlow. One of the things that I really appreciate about that process is that, unlike so many of the recycling materials that we hear about, literally 100% of the material that we take in is converted to styrofoam ingots. There is a facility in Kent that takes the raw material that we send them, which is broken up coolers, broken up flat panel monitor, storage, et cetera, et cetera. They take that and they run it through a process that puts it under both heat and pressure. At the other end of the process, there is a completely usable styrofoam ingot, and those ingots then are sold to manufacturers who use them for water sports equipment, they use them for architectural moldings, things that you wouldn't think of for styrofoam, but they're actually being used that way. And literally 100% of the material that leaves here is converted into something useful, and it's not a bit of it is going back out into the environment. So it seems like an insignificant project in some ways when you look at the overall conditions of the world and the universe, but amazingly enough, we have a statistician who's on the team from Port Townsend. We started this approximately 3 years ago, I believe, roughly, and I think in our last update we had shipped 17 tons of styrofoam from East Jefferson County to this manufacturing facility and took that out of the waste stream. So now I haven't done a calculation yet to see how far 17 million tons of 6-inch styrofoam containers would go, but I'm thinking it's probably here in New York at least. So, anyway. So yeah, thanks for the reminder, and it was a successful day for the utilities committee as well. Not hearing any other concerns, I would,
I got one more.
thank you, okay.
I don't know when it is, but does anybody know about this paper shredding event? Because isn't that coming up this month?
I'm not familiar with that either. So who knows?
Oh,
And,
I believe Windermere is doing it next Saturday.
do you know where?
Windermere Real Estate is shredding from 10 o'clock to noon or something like
At
that.
their office?
At their office by the exercise place or whatever
Yeah,
it's called.
physical therapy place.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
That's
next
great,
Saturday.
thank you.
Yeah,
I
we
was
have
not aware
we
that.
have
We
two
did-
boxes
is that on our
getting
website?
rid of.
Yeah, is that on our website, Jeff?
No, but it can be.
Yeah, let's get it posted on our website. Great, thank you, Kate. All right, I will hear a motion to adjourn.
Not this.
I have a question.
Not this Saturday,
Yes.
it's next Saturday, the 10th.
10.
Okay.
Thank you.
This Saturday is the Marine Swap.
Yes.
Kate has her event on May the 24th. This is our last opportunity to get an update. I'd kind of like to hear
Oh, okay.
what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, Tracy kind of covered it, but we can give more. We've got food vendors, hot food, a local lady, a bakery company is doing fruit pies and quiches. The Port Little Village Council is doing a bake sale table. Cove Coffee is donating coffee for the event for us to sell. And that's our fund with a D raising portion. The rest of the event is fundraising without the D. So we still have a few open yard sale spots. I have about 9 spots still available, but 22 now have been filled by local and not just Port Ludlow. Some people from towards Port Townsend are also joining in. We've got 2 big plant sale local ladies that do that as a side business. So we've got plant sale going on, animal shelter, the fire service will come in, they bring a fire truck. And we've got musicians, so we just need the weather to cooperate. Everything's going smoothly. We've got some pot sales and some
Pots.
yes, pot sales. Yeah, plant pots. What's going on?
Talking containers or?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Containers. And other things coming up all the time. And we just need the weather to cooperate, but we want people to show up. So that's May 24th, 10 till 2. Please bring your families, bring grandkids. It will be a great fun day out. Parking will be as normal in this main lot and the overspill at the top beyond the bridge deck. We're just using the yacht closed spaces. And it will be closed off for traffic, so it will be a safe pedestrian-only area from 10 till 2.
Okay, is the indoor sale that LMC is doing at the same time?
Yes, the LMC are doing their usual indoor sale, so they're still looking for people to sign up for indoor tables. They do start a little early. I think they're starting at 9, but we're starting at 10. But yeah, same day.
Thank you, Kay. Any other questions from the board? All right. Like to hear a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.